So last week we talked about personal branding. If you haven't watched that video, make sure to watch that now. But if you're ready to jump into this video, I dive into 3 more questions that were asked during my session as a panelist for the Young Women's Leadership Symposium. It was all about branding you, so stay tuned. I'm Jay Franco, and I teach you how to create your personal brand by mastering your mindset, making your mark, and marketing it on social media. As you know, I was asked to be a panelist for the Brand You session, speaking session of the Young Women's Leadership Symposium that happened a couple weeks ago. And I was able to record some of the questions and the interactions, and I gave you a little bit more detail than I did in the last video from the other panelists also. So you're able to see a little bit of the answers of the other panelists. And the reason why is because some of the things that they said were so key and so important when it comes down to personal branding. So let's get started. The first question in the second breakout session that I want you to listen to is on what advice would you give someone who wants to establish a personal brand? So watch this.
So in that subject, we're going to tell you a little bit pointers on what advice our panel is going to give to you on establishing your personal brand, if you're looking to establish your personal brand, and what to take into account while you're doing so. I'm going to let Jay start this time, so we can go in the middle.
So for me, it's very important to relate to you guys that a personal brand starts with your core values. And I said it before in the previous session, for me, it's core values, core values, core values. What do you stand for, who you are, start writing down what you're going to be for, what you're going to be against, what you're going to associate yourself with, and what you're not going to associate yourself with. And as I said in the previous session, I was referring to Bianca. Like, let's say Bianca comes up to me and she tells me, "Hey, Jake, would you mind, posting this message for me?" But if that's not aligned with who I am, what I do, and my brand, I'm going to have to decline Bianca and say, "Bianca, I'm sorry, but it just really doesn't resonate with who I am as a person. I don't believe in what you're kind of trying to push on social media." So making sure that you know definitely what your core values are. And it doesn't mean that you have to know them exactly right now. It just means that start writing them down as you continue to grow and taking a stand for yourself and who you are and who you want to be. All right, so I'm glad you listened to that. Here's the next question. The next question is, the way you carry yourself, both online and offline, should be very, very intentional. So what are those unintentional things that you're doing specifically offline that translate into a personal brand? So one of the things that we do here at Franco Innovative, we do work with influencers. And if you're trying to establish a personal brand, eventually one of your goals is to become an influencer, correct? So what we do is, we look at their profile, look at their following, look at their engagement, their likes, all of that stuff. One of the things that always kind of throws me off is we reach out to an influencer and she doesn't email back. It's maybe 7 days later and we're just now getting a return on our email. We call her, she doesn't pick up. So who you are online also has to mimic who you are in real life. Everywhere you go, people, as Jose said, they're going to naturally judge you. Not because they want to, we're just inherently made to do that. So make sure that you're very consistent, because the person that I'm trying to pair with a brand, this brand contacted my agency. They want to work with a pool of influencers. I know some people in Houston who are influencers, and I'm trying to find the best fit. If that person is mousy and does not complement what she is online and doesn't respond to her emails, we're not going to choose her. So make sure that and as you said, catfish. Don't catfish the agencies or the brands that want to work with you. Be very consistent, be hardworking, be determined. If you really want to develop a personal brand, then you need to be able to take control of all of the aspects. The business part of what comes from personal branding. Personal branding is not just, I'm here, I'm cute, you know, I have like 10,000 following in social media, and then that's it. When you're behind, you know, behind the screens or off social media, you're this person that is not hardworking, is not diligent, is not determined, is not focused, doesn't have core values, doesn't have goals, and is sitting outside at Starbucks and is quiet and, you know, doesn't open the door for somebody, doesn't, you know, say thank you, excuse me. You've got to make sure that you know who you are. And as I said before, core values are very important because they define who you are. If you are a person whose core value is empathy, you know that you're immediately going to be empathetic to others. You're going to open someone's door. You're going to bless someone with, hey, you know, let me buy you coffee. You know, if you're someone whose family is very important, you know that your family comes before any social media endeavor. Or that if you have to film, like I often have to film for my YouTube channel, that I involve my family, even though it's coming into my family time, I'm still putting them first. All right, so you're back. This one is a little bit scary to share. I didn't know whether I wanted to post it online or not, but I feel that people can really learn from my mistakes. The next question is, share an experience of how to overcome a personal branding mistake. This, as I said, this story is very, very personal, and it literally is an example of an experience that I had when I encountered something, when I posted something on social media. So watch this, because a lot of times what we post, even when we post something that was unintentionally and intentionally good, maybe what you went to go post was inherently completely good, it can also affect your brand. It can also put you in the wrong spotlight. So check this out. So people make mistakes even out of happiness. Oh man, that resonated really quick. I was like, oh, I remember that. Wow, that pulled a mistake I've made in the past. And I've made several on social media, mind you. By all means, we're not perfect. But the one thing that I want you guys to remember all the time is that social media doesn't define you, okay? And even though you made a really bad decision or a really dumb post, that if you're true to yourself, and you allow yourself to be vulnerable and say, I made a mistake, that you can recover from these personal branding mistakes. I made the mistake when I had gotten my bachelor's many, many, many moons ago, and I was at Stila Cosmetics, and I remember I had been actively searching for work on LinkedIn and all sorts of places, because I have a bachelor's in marketing and my concentration is in marketing. This is before I got all my masters that I have. But at that point in my life, and this will happen to you guys, as soon as you graduate from your bachelor's, you're like, yes, here I come, you know? And so you start getting really active and you start looking for jobs. And guess what happens? Someone reaches out to you and tells you you're amazing. Oh my goodness, I would love to hire you, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. And guess what I did? I posted on both social media.
Immediately.
Oh, I am so honored that someone wants to hire me as director of social media, da 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 da. It was just something really exciting, you know? After talking to that person, that business owner, we came to the agreement that I was out of their budget. You know, he was looking more for an intern, and I didn't quite fit. I was overqualified for the position that he was looking for. And so we were talking, but we kept, you know, we finished the interview with, okay, well, let's stay in contact. So whatever you need, I'm here for you. You know, reach out to me when you have a position that's, you know, full time. So I was just really excited that someone reached out to me who I hadn't reached out to. They were just watching me on social media. And they reached out to me to see if, you know, I was interested in this position. I was excited. I go and put it on social media, and I get a call from HR at work.
You're trying to do what?
Uh-oh.
Good old HR.
HR.
Because my boss got a million texts. Hey, so Jay's leaving the company?
Mm-hmm.
And as innocent as my post was, I was not even under intentions of leaving. I was just trying to like, just wet my feet and
feel
see
good
it.
moment.
Yeah, just a feel good moment. And in the back of my head, I really didn't want to leave my job because it was a really fabulous job. It's still a very fabulous job. But in the back of my head, I'm like, I'm not. I'm just trying to see what's out there and what the money looks like, you know? And out of just something so innocent, I made a mistake in my personal brand. And I was asked for me to take the post down, even though it was on my personal account. Mind you, your personal account. So if you don't want people to see something, if you don't want your potential employers or a partner, a business partner, or someone else to see it, think always before you post. Will this cause harm or will this increase my personal brand? Because as I said, it came out of like a happy moment. Oh my goodness, that's so nice that, you know, someone's looking at me. And then this is what happens.
So really quick, again, good example. Thanks. That was a good story to back that up because an emotion should immediately leak onto your phone. That's what tends to happen.
I grew up from that.
We
Several
get
times.
mad, and again, we have the luxury of having the technology now to get all the info out. But again, what is the message? What is your personal brand message are you sending out? And will it have the consequences like hers, where even a happy emotion will get you in trouble?
All right, and when we wrapped up the session, we did open it up for questions and answers. Much like the first video, someone sitting in the exact same place asked the exact same question in the second breakout session. So yes, the question is, how do I reflect my offline personality online? She wanted to know how to start her personal brand when she uses social media for just entertainment at the moment, and she doesn't know quite well how to translate how people see her offline online. And this one's very near and dear. I have a little story to share with you about your personality and how, especially my personality here in front of the camera, and how your brand should translate across the board. So watch this answer.
I'm still learning, so hopefully
So
she'll teach me too.
When it comes to especially when you're like, wait, everyone tells me I have a great personality. That was me. Everybody's like, oh my God, Jay, you need to have your own YouTube channel. Oh, Jay, you know, you should have like this camera crew following you everywhere. And I've always been told this since I was a kid. I'm always like a natural performer. That's just, you know, how it was made and how I'm wired. But there's a difference when you're wanting to go on social and you're like, oh man. And so when you're first starting, you start off so bland and so robotic. So having your own peanut gallery is so important. But your peanut gallery has to tell you, in Spanish we say la pura neta, like the straight up, like the real deal. They've gotta tell you la pura neta. Like they've gotta be like, girl, that was not you.
Stop that. Take that off.
Like,
Don't do that.
Yeah.
You know you have those friends.
And I'll say, oh, sorry.
no, so I
Excited with your
got
question.
So one of the things that I remember sending the video over to, and this was when I had finished already my second master's, and I sent it to my peers that I went to school with at University of Southern California. So I sent it to them, and I had to like swallow the jagged little pill because they're like, wait, that's not Jay. I don't know who that girl was. That was white girl Jay. Can you bring back Latina spicy Jay? Like the girl that we met in school, the girl that would present in front and was very, very comfortable with herself, with who she is, who she, you know, she came from and all that stuff. Like we need that in video. Like the girl that we just saw all the time, you know, that's who we would like to see. This version of you, we understand you're just now starting, but tap into just being just you. And as Jose continues to say, being authentic is so important. Now, girl, I'm like, you know, all
Don't
in my
stage it,
videos.
just be you. You
Just
can
be
practice
you.
videos with your BFF right here.
But get your BFF, but get your BFF to tell you, girl, that's not you.
I get text messages from my best friends, my sisters, and they'll say, Really? Okay, we're gonna take that one down. We don't like that one. Okay, try again. Come back to it again.
I do too. Still.
So, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna add, I guess, just to wrap up. Careful with the word "should." So listen for that. If you get advice from someone else, your parents, your mentors, your people, your counselors at school, hey, you should do this. You should do that. Careful because it's their opinion. They're leaning on you. So especially with personal brand, hey, you shouldn't wear this. You shouldn't do that. So careful with that should. And then number two, as far as personal branding, making decisions, what you're doing with anything. To me, this is what goes on in my dialogue. If it's a no, it's a no. If it's a yes, it's a no. If it's a hell yes, then it's a yes. So careful with your personal branding when you make decisions like that.
I really hope that you enjoyed listening to the answers that were asked during the breakout session, and I hope that you got to really understand what personal branding is. Let me know in the comments below if you're looking to establish a personal brand in 2019. So comment right now if you're looking to start a personal brand. Drop it in there, and I'd love to chat with you offline and in the comments below. So make sure that you reach out to me. If you've got questions on personal branding, reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram at THEJFranco. So it's the J Franco. And you're more than welcome to DM me and ask me questions about personal branding. Bueno, mi gente, eso es todo. Make sure to like and subscribe. I release new videos every Thursday, so I'd love for you to click on the notification bell after you subscribe, and that way you know exactly when I release new videos every single Thursday. Nos vemos la próxima semana.